Mannafields Christian School. We were established in 1988. I was just a young man then, but I wasn't there at the time. I've just come in the last 4 years or so, more about in a moment. We are a school where God and His Word take central place, where no subject, whether science or art, can be separated from the revelation of who He is. We provide a high quality curriculum in 3 composite classes, P4 to 6 infants, P4 to 6 and P7 to S2. We're currently working our way through some subjects with level 3 curriculum for excellence, and not next academic year but the year after, so it'll be August 25-26, we would like to expand into secondary school education, starting with our nationals, National 4, National 5 and so on. So pupils are taught core maths and language subjects directly through teaching and or quiet focused work, actively supported by a teacher across all classes, and pupils get a great deal of attention. We rotate our themes centred on God-centred projects such as the one we're on just now, God is Truth and Wisdom, and we go through a 3-year cycle with these terms taught every half term, these subject areas. So everything that we teach, whether geography, science, technology, craft and design, ICT, music, drama and French, they all permeate the trustworthiness of God and focus, as I say, on these themes. So we value pupils from all backgrounds, and parents are encouraged to take an active part in their child's education. We firmly believe in the role of the parent in their education of their child. We encourage parents to be part of our school, so they may help perhaps with classroom assistant. They may want to come in and help with other parts of running the school. These can be taken into account perhaps with our fees as well. Perhaps we could look at how they could be negotiated through input to the school directly. When we say we're a private school, we're more sort of the opposite end of the spectrum to say to Fetties or something like that. Very much the case. So maybe Mannafields here and Fetties there and Stuart Melville's about there. So we are aware of the cost to come into private school education, and we try to work with parents a way forward that we're not going to say you can't come if money's an issue. Through good communication and collaboration with parents, we're seen as essential to the school's ethos, not least that we seek to uphold the values of the family and share in the parental mandate to educate their children. Our children are loved and cared for as individuals. We encourage them to take an increasing responsibility for their own learning, to recognise their own talents and to aim to reach their God-given potential in society. We have a firm commitment to personal values such as good standards of behaviour, discipline, manners. We encourage all pupils to know God's plan and purpose for each person, all of whom are uniquely loved by Him. The school makes use of recognised learning programmes. We have good ICT, laptops and so on. We use the internet for research purposes. We regularly visit local places of interest. We've been to Edinburgh High Street not that long ago, and other places just nearby. We have a yearly camp, so this year we're going to Canterbury, North Berwick in mid-May. Looking forward to that. And we want our pupils, wherever we are, to actively learn and engage with the people around them. For example, in our local community at Jock's Lodge, we're part of St Margaret's House, Edinburgh District Council's Arts building. So just recently we had a coffee morning or cake sale, and they all came and joined us. We'd be delighted to talk more about Mannafields School with you, so if you have any more thoughts, please come and speak to either myself, Miss Van Delve, Mrs. Kelly. They're just in. Could they put their hands up for us? There they are. So we are our 3 main teachers. We have classroom assistants, and so most of the learnings through our 3 teachers. We start each day with looking at Proverbs, and I've got Proverbs for the teachers, that is, we have a sort of a thought for the day, as it were. And interestingly, our theme at the moment is God is truth and knowledge. And we have assemblies talking about perhaps the books of poetry and wisdom. So we always start assemblies with God's word. But one of the things we talked about just recently with the staff as our daily devotion was from Proverbs 4, verses 10 through to 13. My child, listen to me, and do as I say, and you will have a long, good life. And I will teach you wisdom's ways and lead you in the straight paths. When you walk, you won't be held back. When you run, you won't stumble. Take hold of my instructions. Don't let them go. Guard them, for they are key to life. So when we're in school, we're always aware of God's word as the centre point, so that children are prepared to know how to navigate this world around them in a God-centred way. So wisdom and the likes is very key to who we are as educators. I just want to talk briefly about myself, about how I got into Christian education. It might be helpful for some of us who are in education itself. I also just want to tell you a little bit where we're going as a school. I've mentioned already about secondary. I'd like to talk briefly again about how we're hopefully going to get there and some of the hurdles that are in front of us. And then I'll finish off with a short conclusion. So just another 4 or 5 minutes. So as a teacher myself in 25 years in mainstream education, in 2019 I said to my wife, I've just had enough. I've been in here, I'm just worn down by the whole system. I've taught science, goodness knows how many hundreds of pupils, and I've actually got to a point now where I'm recognising I can't keep giving to this system, okay? And by that I meant this, as I do see it as a bit of a sausage machine, okay? They come in, they're out, they're in, they're out, and this is happening all day long. Very difficult to connect with the pupils, they don't necessarily connect with you so well. This is, I feel, a bit of a throwback to the Victorian times. We haven't changed. And I said to my wife, I wonder if there's any other way to do education. I took a bit of a chunk out to reorientate. I did all sorts of stuff. I home tutored at home. I even got involved in landscape gardening for a few days or months. That was hard work, I tell you. And but eventually I said to my wife, look, I'm an educator, I need to get back into education. How am I going to do this? So this is where Bev Kelly came in. She was working as a head teacher at Mannafields at the time. I got in touch with her, and then I started working with Mannafields part-time. And then this August, I was passed the baton from Bev to myself, and I'm now the head teacher. This has been a great journey for me. It's kind of restored my faith in education. And it's restored my faith as a Christian that actually this sausage machine that was being more and more secularised, and we've heard a little bit about that already, and more so after COVID, it just seems to have gone from bad to worse after COVID. And that also includes pupils' behaviour as well. Speaking to a friend who's saying that teachers are regularly subjected to physical violence and as well as abuse. And again, with this colleague, if we're not centering around God, what are schools centering around? And I think they're beginning to get the message. We need something to focus our values on. It can't just be our school is nice to each other and we are kind. That doesn't really work. You've got to know what is supporting this whole basis of being nice. I'm just using that as not a very nice thing to say, but to be, you see it in all these mission statements. We are kind, we are this, we are that. Well, the nitty-gritty of it all is it's very hard to get that to work if you don't have a core system to base it around. And of course, with God's words, whether it's from books of wisdom and poetry, from the Old Testament or somewhere else in the New Testament, that's what we're about. And that really excited me and ignited my sense of this is worthwhile, I can invest in this. And I'm so glad that I have. So at the moment we are spending a little bit of time connecting with the parents and pupils. We've put out a questionnaire, we're trying to work out where they're feeling about being in our school. Next year we want to really start to consolidate our sort of vision and just try to get a sense of what we are and where we're going. I think that's going to be really important. We know a little bit about it at the moment, but just to kind of ground things, making sure that the parents and pupils and the staff all know our part in this, because I think if we're going to expand and people are going to ask, who are you, what are you doing, we really need to know what that is, and we can say, this is what we're trying to do, okay? So visions and values and that area, that's something we want to pick and develop next year. Also the curriculum, so we're go up to S2 just now, but we want to move into S3, S4 and S5, I guess. So we're trying to make sure that our curriculum is going to be right. We're exploring things. We've been looking a little bit at Christian classical a little bit. We've been looking at blended learning. Can we work with homeschoolers? Can we operate perhaps an exam centre at Mannafields and Jock's Lodge where homeschoolers could come and sit their exams? Can we operate perhaps some way that we could maybe do some teaching in school that could be videoed, you know, specialist teachers, and people could connect with that? I'm just throwing these ideas out here. I haven't necessarily talked to Bev and Inga about them. They're beginning to get a little bit worried. Also, you know, could we offer homeschoolers to come in and do assessed practicals with chemistry, physics, and so on? So, lots of questions. Very interestingly, when we're reaching out to people just to say, can you help us in certain things, just recently did this with the Korean Embassy based in London, and they have given us a Korean teacher who comes in every Tuesday afternoon for free and teaches Korean and some of the cultural aspects of Korea, more South Korea, not North Korea, just to put that. I've just latterly got in touch with somebody from Edinburgh University's History and Classics and Languages department, and they're asking would we'd like to be a pilot school for a teacher to come in and teach Latin. And I've definitely not mentioned that to Bev yet. I have mentioned it to Inga. So we'll talk about that a bit later. So you know, I think the resources are out there. So next year is going to be quite exciting. And the other thing I think, just trying to gather my thoughts here, is finances. How do we pay for moving into secondary? Well, rough back-of-the-envelope budget for part-time teachers to come and help us. I see our teachers being part-time, perhaps to deliver physics, maths, or whatever, because I just don't know if we are ready to pay for full-time teachers. I think the demographics are probably going to be teachers of my sort of age, maybe just retiring, have a bit more time. We could pull on folks like that. I'd love to think that we could get people full-time, but financially I'm just not sure if we're able to do that. Anyway, 150,000 just to get started with the resources and the staff part-time, delivering about 5 or 6 subjects for National 5, if that's the way we're going to go. It's a lot of money. We could lean on to the parents, but as I said, we don't necessarily make that an issue for parents if they can't afford the full fees, not that they're, again, fetties over here. So we're trying to think about where do we get this money from, and this is an issue. So we met recently, we talked a little bit about maybe can we get into churches, we want to sit down and produce a timeline for grant applications, partner with Christian businesses possibly, establish an alumni. We do need to think a little bit more about this. Our marketing, I think we need to get better at as well, so that people know that we're there and they will come to us. I think when we get our secondary education up and away, people would want to come because they know that once they start with us in infants, they can wait all the way through to the end of secondary, rather than having to say what we're going to do now in P7 or S2. It's quite disruptive. We appreciate that. Just a little bit on some of the things we're doing for training as teachers. Some of us are meeting together each month along with other staff, including board members, to go online. We have a chap called Dr. Richard Edlin who wrote the book The Cause of Christian Education, and he's working with us with things like values and aims and so on. We meet once a month online, and we go through his book, which is absolutely amazing. It's an incredible resource, and we're getting so much from that. If you want to know anything about these things I've mentioned, please come and speak, because I'll be more than happy for you to join us as well with these things. What he's really brought home for me is the whole thing about worldview and how there's no neutrality. And we've already heard this in secondary schools. Things are just warping away from God, way faster than perhaps during the 90s and early 2000s. And I think parents and teachers and the government are starting to get this. I was just saying to Bev there, we're like just little yeast cells. I know that yeast isn't always used positively in the Bible, but we've got the potential to grow and make a change. And I really feel that this time is that time of growth. So please do consider Mannafields, whether your children are this size or getting a bit older. Be aware that in 2 years' time we want to be in secondary. Please come and speak to us. If you know people who are interested in secondary school education, let them know who we are. We're more than happy to bring people in and walk them through the school and see what we're up to. Okay. I'll finish just by saying that we do need to offer Scotland an alternative. We really do. And this is an opportunity, I think, to reshape education from being a captive and failing institution to a thriving and dynamic place of learning and teaching, and especially our fellow Christians who we know are really struggling just now, particularly the youth. Thank you very much.